Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conti reporting. After a long weekend, what do we got? What do we got today? Holy smokes, it's 23 degrees. Weather report here in northeast Pennsylvania, the northeast part of Pennsylvania, in the great country of America. Freezing our asses off. Oh my God, 23 cold degrees. But, look at that. You could see the sun on this reporter's face. The reporter is reporting on the sun on the reporter's face. The warm sensation of the sun. Now, you could be outside. Go outside, man. Go outside. Go outside and get out of the wind. Right? Find yourself a cove, right? Like with three sides, right? Oh man, you know, like those, some kind of either natural cove or like three walls. And just sit right in between there. Me and the black cat do that. We're going to do that in a little while, me and Batman. And warm yourself up to the sun. Even though it's 25 degrees, it doesn't matter. You sit, and as long as there's sun and no wind, you will be warm. Right? You'll be warm. Come on, man. Take off your shirt. Take off your shirt. So how you doing, everybody? So today is November 21 in the year 2022. And guess what, man? The Artemis rocket is doing fantastic. Oh my God. The moon rocket, the largest, most powerful rocket in the world that the Americans have built to orbit the moon without any people, has arrived at the moon, about 590 miles off the surface. It's a respectable distance, right? It's probably right now in orbit in the moon. I don't know why they don't leave something in orbit on the moon. Why not? Why not drop something there and leave it there? Like a I don't know, some kind of satellite. How come we don't have anything revolving the moon? We got 500 of them revolving the Earth. While you're up there, why don't you drop one and leave it, right? And the satellite could be used for, I don't know, taking pictures. Fucking, I don't know, whatever you put in there, right? Put a couple of cameras in there so we can keep an eye on the moon. Keep an eye on the dirty Chinese on the dark side. But anyway, we did it. The rocket has successfully made it through the dreaded radiation Van Halen belt. Made it all the way without disintegrating. No, it didn't fall apart. It didn't melt. So look at that. It's fascinating, man. It makes you feel a little more human or something, right? Now, I sit up at night sometimes. Like, if you get a clear night where I live, the moon is spectacular. And also, I'm starting to, because when you live in a city your whole life, like New York City, you look up, rarely. And the light pollution in large cities, if you're not familiar with this, light pollution, you can't really see the stars even on a clear night because the power of the light generated by the humans down below causes your eye not to see it. You're actually creating a light bubble. But here, you can see it. You can see, I'm starting to identify like Venus and Saturn, and you see the Gemini, brothers or Gemini twins, whatever. and the silver spoon, the spoon, right? You see all the stars, right? I want to identify them more so I know what the hell I'm looking at. Like the North Star, you know? I got jealous because there were a bunch of like locals and they were hanging out talking about the stars. Like, did you see Saturn last night? I'm like, no, man, I fucking, I don't even know what it looks like. But I sit out at night and I look up and I like what I see. I don't necessarily know how to name them, but I'm learning. And I'm going to be an expert on all that shit. So we'll look there, and thank you everybody for joining me. Vinny D Martini in the house. Morning, Weevil Girl, Weevil Girl. Casa Philly Camden is here. Colossal Bigfoot. William Smith, my brother, out here in the great state of Pennsylvania. Chris Milk, our reporter, as well. Jim Gerard, Rockstar Jim is in the house. Our happy guest, Zoot Cooter. Good morning, everybody. So we'll do that, and we'll break to the markets at 9 o'clock, and let's inch into it today. So this is my thumbnail, and this is the shot that I was hoping that would surface, and guess what? It has. Look at that. There's the Artemis craft, and it is now on the other side of the moon, right? And in the backdrop is the Earth. Now, we're used to seeing it the other way, right? But look at that, man. Look at that rocket. Look at that ship that we put all the way away from the Earth. Right? We're doing pretty good as humans, although we're destroying the planet we live on through, I guess, overpopulation. We're doing pretty good getting off the planet and far enough away to see that maybe we're not alone. We're not alone in this universe, that there are other planets thriving to become. Right? And here's your evidence. Here's your evidence. You don't have to believe it, but it's there. And there you have it. There's the moon with the Earth well in the background. So we're going to look at this fascinating story today. My name is Marcus Conte, and I have a website. Every morning at 9 a.m., somehow I put all these fucking wires together. I plug everything in, and I hit the button, and we're fucking live, man. It's just, I don't know how it happens. It must be a miracle, man. It must be all fake, right? This isn't real. This isn't real. It's just a illusion, I guess. I don't know, man. But anyway, man, I appreciate you all here in my dream world. Every morning at 9 a.m. If you're somewhere else, or if we're somewhere else, that's what I should say. If YouTube decides to boot us again, we'll be over at DLive. All you got to do is come to my website at 9 a.m. and you'll see the link. Right now we're on Marcus Conte 1 YouTube channel. And I dropped the links to the uncut, unedited, unsliced, unbuffied videos across many platforms: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, and wherever else you might be consuming social media. So there we go. So let's start here. Right here on Earth. Before we talk about the moon and all of the news up there, let's talk about what's going on Earth, because it does seem out of this world, right? So the midterm elections are over, and there's a Democrat for senator who's over there and got reelected for another 6 years, and his name is Chuck Schumer. And now that Lucky Chucky is back in for another 6 years, he finally comes out honestly and openly about what the Democrats' view of immigration really is. Now, the idea that open borders is something bad, something that dilutes the American workforce, is a real phenomena, right? Regular people in America, don't want a pile of immigrants coming over the border and competing illegally for their jobs, right? And as I've always said on this program, that works to the advantage of the bosses. When you have no borders and you have, $2 and $3 and $1.50 pot washers and leaf rakers and construction workers pouring into the country, you cause they're doing what the lazy Americans don't want to do, right? We're successful, honey. Don't go out there and break your back like that. Let's hire the Mexicans to do it. Right? That's what they're talking about, right? And that's what we've always known. But here it is. So now it's in terms of policy, people like Chuck Schumer are now speaking the truth. They don't want borders. They want immigration to flood into the country and put pressure on the Americans to work their fucking ass off until they fall down with COVID or something else. Because that's what usually happens. Senator Chuck Schumer made some startling admissions last week about his immigration views. Quote, and I quote, Chuck Schumer speaking, quote, "We have a population that is not reproducing on its own with the same level that it used to." Isn't that honest, Chuck? These Americans, they're not reproducing. I don't know if he means reproducing in terms of people, like having babies, but it's more about producing stuff, right? The only way we're going to have, listen to this. This is Chuck Schumer. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but to get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here. So the illusion that the Democrats give a shit about immigration in this country, the flood of new immigration into this country, is a lie, because they don't give a shit. They give a shit to see more of them come in because they're being paid to do it. Shut up about that immigration law. Why? Because corporations need it. They need the cheap labor. Not only corporations, but small companies, small mom and pops need it even more. It's estimated that probably half of all the restaurants in New York City, in Manhattan and such, when you go into those kitchens, Spanish is spoken. And I would say half of them, if you prevented illegal immigration, if you made it difficult for all of Mexico and Ecuador and fucking Panama to be in there cooking, and Cuba and wherever they're coming from, right? Then the business probably wouldn't be able to function. You can't get people that'll work that hard for that long for that cheap. In America, the only people that are willing to do it are immigrants. So you understand why big business, even small business, turns a blind eye to that, because it's a fundamental belief in this country that immigration, no matter how you slice it, right, it causes a tension in the employment sector, causing people to work harder, longer hours for less. They're taking less because they're competing with some illegal. Now it doesn't affect it doesn't affect people like Chuck Schumer or the socialites in the Hamptons. It affects regular people that work for a living, that depend on a work check, right? A check. They work hours, hourly workers. So there it is. I mean, the honesty was breathtaking, says the New York Post. For long, Schumer and his party have danced around the truth. They want to legalize anyone coming over our border for any reason. Very, very true. Very true. That's why it's so important Americans know that the gig, that Democrats want anything resembling reasonable immigration policy, is up. The gig is up. But it's going to require Republicans putting on some big boy pants and pointing it out. Now, why would the Republicans, now they got control of the House, right? They were, build a wall, shut it down, immigration, motherfucker, right? Now, let's see how they run to the border and stop everything with policy. They control Congress now. They control the House of Representatives. The Speaker of the House is now a Republican, a red Republican. Let's see if they're going to do it. I don't think they will, for the reasons I just told you, that it stimulates the economy by putting pressure on you to work more. Right? They don't care if you're happy. These people, it's going to make Americans unhappy. They don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about themselves, and that's it. So you see the financial ramification of keeping immigration just the way it is. So flooding the border, here they come. They're sending their broken ones too. This guy's in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter. Send them. I need refuge. He fucking made it. He made it across the Rio Grande in a wheelchair. So can't make it up, man. Thank you, Chuck Schumer, for your rigorous honesty. And I don't really get this. I'm trying to understand. AMA winners. Taylor Swift sweeps with 6 wins. I like this kid's comment right here. This is Machine Gun Kelly. So there was some kind of awards last night, American Music Award, and I don't know. The winners were people like Taylor Swift, Pink. Come on, man. That is Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder showed up. Lionel Richie showed up. We love Lionel Richie. We love Stevie Wonder. Taylor Swift, I don't know, man. I can't hit the button because these were the best new artist, or I'm not new artist, but best artist of the year. The best artist of the year. The candidates were Adele, Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, Beyonce, Drake, Harry Styles, and The Weeknd. I don't know any of their music. I know very little Drake. I know Adele when I'm hanging out, when I'm walking in the mall or something, and I hear Adele singing in the background. That's the only time I would ever hear Adele. Or Beyonce when I'm forced to watch a football game, and you get to see them doing the black dance, with the twerking and the ass thing and the thing that Michael Jackson invented in the 1980s, that kind of line dance, But otherwise, to me, they're not music. They're something else. They're more like entertainers or something. I don't think of them as... I don't really think of Taylor Swift as anything musical, but who am I to fucking argue? There's, hundreds of millions of people like it. Right? I don't like it. But Machine Gun, here he is, Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly, he's not going to sing for us, but he's going to make some statements. Listen to this.
This suit is really uncomfortable to pee in. Speaking of uncomfortable, there have been some people in the rock community who've called me a tourist, but they're wrong. I'm a rocket man. We weren't born on the moon, but we looked at it, we were curious, and then we went there, supposedly.
Whoa, he said supposedly. Supposedly, oh my God, did he go to the moon? Let's watch it again. You can't say that on national television. We didn't go to the moon.
We weren't born on the moon, but we looked at it, we were curious, and then we went there, supposedly.
Wow. Playing into that conspiracy theory, Machine Gun Kelly is that, did we go to the moon? It's still a hot button, man. It's still a hot button. What else? Yeah. So 2020 AMA's best and worst moments. Taylor Swift, Pink, there they are doing the line dance. Can we watch? I'll shut off the radio. I'm not gonna play it, but because you get scratched. Put it a little bit. No, even a little bit. It'll detect it. So there's Pink. Hopelessly devoted to you, she sang. hopelessly devoted to you. That's Miss Taylor Swift winning 6 trophies. Isn't she lovely? She's a big, sexy woman, right? And here's this sexy performance by Anita. She wants you to see her body. And here they are, the dancing goofballs. Dancing fucking goofballs. Look at their faces. Oh, yeah. So that's music for you. Enjoy your music. And Machine Gun Kelly, I could see how. See, that's my position exactly. That people that play music or people that have been wildly successful in music will say, "Fucking Machine Gun Kelly, who is he?" And then they listen to the music and they laugh like snot pops out of their nose because they're laughing so hard. Right? And he is. People like that are, to me, Taylor Swift is a tourist. She's just touring through music right now, playing to the kiddies. Anyway, so reporting on the legal weed in New York that was apparently legalized months ago. They still can't get it straight. They're awarding retail licenses this Monday, come Black Monday, but the black market is still thriving, right? So right now, New York, I'm not in New York, but it's become aware to me that bodegas and now stores are openly displaying weed and selling it upon request. So that's a good thing. But why a great state of New York? And I mean, why can't they do what everybody else does? Why can't they do what California does and just open up dispensaries and let the industry do what it does, right? Let people grow and let the industry do what it does, right? This business of it, they're trying to fucking control it, right? But they made it legal. Oh yeah, it's legal, but it's only legal if you do it our way. Right? You gotta say fuck you. You know what New York needs to do the helmet thing. You remember there were certain states that had helmet laws, motorcycle helmet laws, and there were a lot of people that didn't like motorcycle riders rather smash their head into a million pieces when they hit the ground than wear a helmet. So they took their helmets and they all drove to City Hall and they threw their helmets on the steps of City Hall, and there went the helmet law in certain states. I know in Pennsylvania there is none. Right? I think New York has to do the same thing. They got to say all the legalization, all of the attempts to monitor and manipulate and control, throw it out the window and let the business thrive. Let it become the real thing. New York could have wonderful marijuana atmosphere in Greenwich Village, for example, where coffee shops can open up. Little tea shops and herb stores and stuff. I'd like to sell to them. I got my organic tobacco that I'd love to sell to them, right? Mix that shit in with your weed. So I don't know. I guess I'm just talking about this because I'm perplexed why a state can't figure it out. Why can't New York get the fucking legal shit right already? Right. So here we go. Let's watch a little NASA and see what's going on here.
And then the Russians have an Orlan, and I had the chance to go in a Russian spacesuit. It's a lot like the American EMU. So those are.
So here's some shots. These are live shots of again, Artemis, the spacecraft on the other side of the moon. Hey man, I got distracted because the moon looks like an egg. It's not round, man. It's a fucking egg. Look. Right? Is that round? No. It's a fucking egg. Let's see what else we got. This was a live feed.
And refuel.
An important scientific
These are not live. Let's see. So yeah, there's the live.
one long elliptical orbit around the moon, lasting about 6 days.
Okay, so it's going to be 6 days around the moon. Well, where's the shot, man? I don't want to listen to you talk. So there you go, right? So there you go. Look at the image. Look at the image. Distance to the moon about 2,100 miles away. I know it dropped down as low as 600 miles. Traveling at a speed of 1,400 miles an hour. It's 232,672 miles away from home. Wow, we did it. Look at that, man. Look at NASA go. Look at NASA
Orion
go.
is now 2,000 miles away from the moon, continuing to close in on its destination for this particular burn, the backside of the moon. The outbound powered flyby is the goal of today's operation.
It's fake. It's fake. You know why it's fake? Because how did you take a picture of the rocket when... Who's taking the picture of the rocket? What the fuck, man? How could you see the rocket and the moon at the same time? How does the rocket take a picture of itself? That shit is fake.
This outbound powered flyby will send Orion close enough to the lunar surface to leverage the moon's gravitational force and swing the spacecraft once around the moon toward entry into distant retrograde orbit.
So there you go. So that is the object. The object is to get into the moon's orbit at 1,000 miles an hour and let it throw you around the moon and put you out the other side. It's like you're taking a ride. You're locking into the gravity. See, we know these things about the moon. See that? Like, they knew that. They knew that the rocket would get locked in the orbit of the moon and then have enough gas to break away from the moon. Very, very simple. Very easy to do.
Following this, Orion will remain in the distant retrograde orbit for one long elliptical orbit around the moon, which will last about 6 days.
6 days around the moon.
Following this, Orion will perform a similar maneuver called the return-powered flyby, which will put it on the trajectory to return back to Earth ahead of a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean on December 11th.
Ah, there's the shot right there. There it is, live from the rocket.
Again, if you're just joining us, you are looking at a view from the Solar Array Wing or SAW camera on board the Orion spacecraft, which is 5 days into its mission, just 1,400 miles away from the moon. We'll continue to see the moon grow larger in the frame here in the next couple of minutes before we do lose signal from Orion as it flies behind the moon.
That's an interesting fact that when the ship gets behind the planet, it loses its connection, its connectivity to Earth. It's pretty fascinating, right? And so they're going to lose communication for about 30 minutes. Right? That shit is flying by itself, man. 30 minutes without humans, right?
Now you are seeing the Earth, you are seeing home, you are seeing yourself in that image right there, as Orion is 232,000 miles away from planet Earth.
Fascinating. It's CGI. It's fake. It's fake. It's Hollywood, man. Hollywood's out of work, and they got to come up with some fake imagery of the moon. They're supporting NASA. And they're bootlickers. They're all bootlickers. They lick the boots of NASA because NASA wants to trick them. I believe it. I believe they're there. I believe this is happening. It's so surreal, really, you know. That's why I talk about it. Oh, man, look at the imagery, right? Cruising by. We could see the moon. Here we're 1,000 feet off the moon. Let's get a little closer. Now here we go. So now we're 650 feet off the moon. It's all
We're now 1 minute and 45 seconds away from today's outbound powered flyby burn. This burn will last for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It's oh my God, the moon is real. Holy shit. It looks real. It looks like cheese. What an unfortunate place to be, man, the moon. It looks lonely on the moon.
This burn will occur with Orion's Orbital Maneuvering System, or OMS engine, which was successfully checked out on Tuesday following the liftoff of Orion aboard the Space Launch System from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Look, people, they got this
The
ship.
OMS engine performing spectacularly so far.
They got this shit figured out, man. They got it all figured out. Signal acquisition. They have no signal. They lost their signal. Right. So there you have it. The next step is, right, that capsule right there is able to provide transportation for, I believe, 4 astronauts. There's a 4-person suite in the top of that thing. And that's what it's carrying. It's carrying right now like dummies or something. But so the next step is to...
At this time, we do expect Orion to be completing its closest approach to the lunar surface. Orion should be just about 81 miles above the surface of our closest celestial neighbor.
Wow. Oh, 80. That's pretty good. That's 100 miles. See, you start to lose the quality because it's on the dark side. I don't know, man. I don't know. These images, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust it. I don't know if I trust it. How many people trust it in the chat? 1 is real. 2 is phony baloney.
As Orion continues to travel behind the moon, we are still in a period of anticipated loss of signal as the moon blocks the signal to the Deep Space Network. We are anticipating the acquisition of signal in less than 7 minutes from now.
William Smith says, if you believe this, you best get your booster. Yeah, man. They're going to sell that shit to the people on the moon.
At 6:44 a.m. Central, just about 9 minutes and 30 seconds ago.
We'll come back to that. Let's look at the market. Ding! Oh, my God. Holy smokes. It's 9 o'clock on Earth. Where on earth is the stock market? Goldman Sachs says the bear market is not over. So we have a mixed open this morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 44, while the NASDAQ is down 58 at 9:35 New York time, just opened. And what do we got? So Apple opened up down $2. Amazon up 24 cents. Google up 37 cents. Meta, formerly Facebook, down 60 cents. Microsoft up 2.5. Rivian up $1. Tesla, the great Tesla, down 6. What else? The War Machine. Lockheed Martin up 4. Raytheon up 18 cents. The holy vaccine stocks. They're looking to sell. They're getting excited about the moon launch because they're going to sell their products on the moon. The vaccine, right? Because, COVID is a motherfucker. It could survive on the moon, right? It's like they're going to import COVID to the moon, and then they're going to make a lot of money. So Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna down 2.5. So I would say mixed open right now. Technology shares getting hit a little bit, but the Dow is 33.7. That's hardly down. That's really not a bear market.
Commands were sent for the outbound powered flyby burn to occur with the Orbital Maneuvering System engine, or OMS engine, on board Orion, which sends Orion close enough to the lunar surface to leverage the moon's gravitational force and swing the spacecraft once around the moon toward entry into distant retrograde orbit.
They're in retrograde.
Following
man.
this, Orion will remain in the distant retrograde orbit for 1/2 elliptical orbit around the moon, which will last about 6 days.
A 6-day trip around the moon.
The orbit is called distant due to the high altitude from the moon, which is about 40,000 miles past the moon in its orbit. This will be 30,000 miles farther than the previous record set during Apollo 13, and will also be the farthest in space any spacecraft built for humans will have ever flown.
Yeah,
The orbit
without
is called
humans.
retrograde because Orion will travel around the moon opposite the direction the moon is above the surface.
So we're getting shots of it, but you can't really see the moon. I'm not happy with these night-looking shots. And why is this guy wearing a mask?
And another view of the flight director on console today during today's
Take your mask off.
300 Friday, beginning at 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, this is
Me, we do game phase until it is a first quarter moon.
So there you go, man. There you go. You can't make it up. You can't make it up, man. All right, so I'm out, man. Sorry, a little bit of a shorter program today. So happy Monday, everybody, and thank you for joining me. We'll keep following it. We're gonna keep watching. Unfortunately, we got to wait 3 years to get the. They're looking at 2025 to put somebody in the ship so that we could see them. We can officially say that a living person has made it there and back. And that's really what we're looking for, right? We want to confirm.